Deserts are nature's perfect hiding spot for strange and mysterious things. It buries our secrets, with a climate hostile to traverse, with people risking death in order to do so. However, some of these mysterious secrets have been discovered, and some are absolutely baffling. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scary things found in deserts. Before we begin, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. Coming in at 5. Egyptian cone patterns. In the deserts of Egypt exists the strangest phenomena that has been baffling people across the internet for years. Cones. Yeah, cones. This strange phenomena was discovered by people using Google Maps in 2014 and revealed a strange muck of rocks and sand that formed cone-like figures in an incredibly unique design. Created by Greek artist Danae Stratos and the Dast art team in the mid-1990s, this artwork is called Desert Breath and covers 100,000 square meters in the Egyptian desert near the Red Sea and took several years to create. More interesting still, at its center was a fairly deep pool of water, and the whole project was designed to slowly erode over time, which is exactly what has happened. Of course, when people first discovered this art on Google Maps, they turned it into an extraterrestrial situation, with many believing that no human could create something this large and perfect. Boy, were they wrong. Artist Danae Stratos stated, I quote, "Located at the point where the immensity of the sea meets the immensity of the desert, the work functions on two different levels in terms of viewpoint, from above as a visual image, and from the ground, walking the spiral pathway, a physical experience." Chills. Coming in at 4. The Clown Motel. The Clown Motel is located in the Nevada desert and is exactly what it sounds like. A motel dedicated to terrifying images, figurines, statues, toys and other items of clowns. There are clowns on all the doors and portraits of famous clowns hanging on the walls. The Huffington Post stated, I quote, "It pretty much doubles as a clown museum, which is most people's worst nightmare, especially after watching it, I assume." Even creepier, the hotel is located next to a cemetery, which can be seen from the windows of the property's $39.95 a night rooms. Now you're probably wondering who would come up with something so horrifying. Well, according to the lineup, I quote, "The Clown Motel was founded by Leona and Leroy David in 1985, 5 years before the 1990 Stephen King miniseries It. In 1995, however, the motel was sold to a man named Bob Pichetti and is now on the market for new owners for the low cost of $900,000. The only caveat, the new owners have to agree to keep the motel running with its clown theme." As you would expect, most folks are absolutely terrified of the motel, even though Bob Pichetti states that they only have happy clowns, which in my opinion doesn't exist. Back to the cemetery though. Featured in low-budget horror flicks and TV series, the cemetery adjacent to the Clown Motel is a world-famous landmark that is visited by travelers from all over the world. I mean, just look at these pictures and you can understand why. So spooky. Coming in at 3. Ancient Egyptian burial boat. We're discussing an interesting discovery made in the Sahara Desert here, but first let's mention something very similar. Also known as the Abydos boats, this burial ground was discovered in 1991, with excavation of the boats beginning in 2000, during which time 14 boats were identified. On October 31st, 2000, the University of Pennsylvania Museum and Yale University Expedition issued a press release in which they described the discovery of the Royal Solar boats at Abydos. Now a little history here. For ancient Egyptians, it was fairly common practice to include a vehicle in the tomb when a person was buried. The famous tomb of King Tut, for example, had 6 chariots in it. 6. However, many Egyptians favoured boats, and this wasn't just restricted to the elites. Now back to the Sahara. After 4,500 years, in the sands of the Abusir necropolis, a vessel was discovered and unearthed in 2016. It was 60 feet in length, only about 6 feet shorter than a warship of the time. It was made of high quality wood and was relatively intact upon discovery. Now what baffled folks the most was the fact that it wasn't buried in the grave of a noble or a general. Instead, the person was a commoner. No offense, just facts. However, this is what is confusing the large majority of people, because how did this commoner afford to pay to have the equivalent of the destroyer buried with them? The answer can't be explained and likely never will, but still, it's one of the most mysterious and interesting discoveries made in a desert. Coming in at 2. Gigantic marine man. The Murray Man, or Stewart's Giant, is a large drawing located west of the township of Murray in central South Australia. The drawing appears to depict an Indigenous Australian man hunting with a boomerang or stick. The figure is 2.7 kilometers tall with a perimeter of 28 kilometers, extending over an area of about 2.5 kilometers squared. Although it is one of the largest drawings in the entire world, its origins are still a mystery, with not one person claiming responsibility for its creation. Not only that, but it was only discovered on the 26th of June 1998 by a charter pilot who was flying overhead. Shortly after, the site was closed by the government. However, flights over the site were not forbidden. Now, there are numerous theories about what the drawing means, with some stating that in reverse, the drawing is that of the Artemisian Zeus bronze, a statue which was raised from the bottom of the Adriatic Sea in 1928. Now, there is one suggested creator of the mysterious drawing, Bardius Goldberg, a Northern Territory artist who died in 2002 and lived at Alice Springs. Goldberg was known to be interested in creating a work visible from space, and refused to confirm or deny that he had created the image when questioned. On the other hand, others have suggested that the members of the Australian Army or even American soldiers stationed in Woomera are responsible for the art. I doubt that though. Soldiers don't have time for that. And finally, coming in at number 1, Ryan Singleton. Ryan Singleton was a 24-year-old model who flew from his family's Atlanta home to LA in July 2013 for a brief vacation. Once he arrived, he rented a car and headed to Vegas. However, things took a turn on the return trip as Ryan drove through the desolate Mojave Desert on July 9th. His car broke down near the southeast California town of Baker, and Ryan called a friend from a rest stop. This was the last time anyone heard from Ryan Singleton. 2.5 months later, joggers stumbled across Ryan's body in the desert. All of his organs were gone. Law enforcement officers passed along the gruesome detail, with experts believing that the organs were taken from the boy by scavenging animals. However, Ryan's parents remained suspicious. The autopsy conducted by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department listed his cause of death as undetermined due to advanced decomposition. No perpetrator was found, or even any leads as of 2016. Police for the most part felt that the removed organs did not indicate that Singleton had been murdered by an organ harvesting ring, but things were odd considering the remaining parts of his body were generally intact, causing folks to rule out an animal attack. The family began to suspect that Singleton had made an enemy in the entertainment industry, or his orientation had caused someone to murder him. All we know though is that his murder will forever be unresolved. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with that list? Were there any scary desert discoveries that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 scariest horror movies you need to watch, part 4. Mr. Extreme said, the best way to avoid the creatures in It Follows is to just wear a damn condom. Ain't that the truth? Or is it the act of sex that spreads the curse? Or is the entire film just one giant metaphor for STDs? I need to know. I don't know. Jeff Thompson said, I was really looking forward to seeing Midsommar. So disappointed with it overall. Well, we're not all going to agree on everything. I personally loved it, and my opinion is the right one, so change yours immediately. Joseph Skill said, I never would have imagined Queen Lucy would be into RPGs. Seriously, could Great Cthulhu have spawned a more perfect creation? No. The answer is no. I am perfect. Laura Rivers said, I'm still waiting on the Vincent Price list. Lol. I'm trying my best to make it happen. Fingers crossed. It's not my fault if it doesn't. I'm trying. Blame everyone else. Blame Jack. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.